So this is just a bit of a correction to the first video I put up about diff breathers. Some guys on the internet set me straight. So that one there is the back diff, that one we did the first video. This one here is transfer case, we did in the first video. This one here I think is also transfer case. This white one, which I thought was the front diff, which I pointed out as a front diff, is actually the automatic transmission as far as I've been told. And then this one here, which is similar to those, is actually the front diff. It's near the fuse box under the front, under the bonnet. So it's the same as the other two, except it has a 5/16, I believe, hose tail. So that is the correction on the breathers. And there was one other one which I didn't actually do, I've done it now, is extended the fuel tank breather, which needs some positive suction and positive pressure to actually open, so it's sort of protected from water, but it's probably better to have it up higher anyway. So I've extended that up to basically where the fuel filler is. But that is a correction, and if you keep watching this video, I'll show you what I've done to fix that. Pretty simple fix. After reading some posts on the internet, actually Prado Point is a very good source of information for obviously Prados. I worked out that there's actually another breather. The one that I said was the front diff breather was actually the automatic transmission breather, and there was two on the gearbox and transfer case. The next one is down here. Oh, sorry, the next one, the front diff one, is there. You can see it there. So that's actually pretty high up in the engine bay anyway. But what I'll do is I'm going to extend that and tee it in to the back diff or one of these other breathers, so at least they're all at the same place. So just went down to Auto 1 and got some fittings to do that. That should only be a couple of second job or a couple of minute job. It won't take long, but yeah, thanks to the guys on Prado Point for pointing that out. I actually didn't look, a little bit slack, but I didn't look. Didn't run it through and trace it all the way back down, or have a look at the diff and trace it all the way back up, so that's my fault, but we'll soon get that sorted. There's also one same on information from Prado Point from those guys, is there's actually a breather on the fuel tank on the diesel only. So let's go and have a look at that. So we're under the back of the car here, and just in front of the rear tank there's this little breather, which is a little white valve or breather, a filter style thing inside of a little black housing that just clips up into a clip up there, and that's basically at the bottom of the car level, so that's a little low. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend that up here, up there where the fuel filler is, and put it up pretty well as high as the front one. That should keep it well out of any water and you know, dust and everything from getting kicked up from the wheels. Should be a lot better up there, I think. We may even extend it into where the fuel filler is, but I'll have a look at that, but at least right up to the top there. So that's a job for today, and I'll try and document that on the video as we go. So what we're going to do is pop out this little clip there. We'll pop that out of the little clip that is on the side of the fuse box. If I can get it down there. There we go, popped out. We'll pull out this little end piece. If I can get that out. I've had it out before, so it's pretty easy. So there it is. Same as the other diff breathers, except it's got a quarter hose as standard, different to the gearbox breather. So more the size of the, different to the transfer case breather, more the size of the auto tranny breather, but of the style of the gearbox breather. Okay, so then we're just going to bend that hose around and tee it in to the hoses of the existing breathers that I put in yesterday. Okay, let's do that. So I grabbed from the Auto 1 shop both plastic and brass tees. I was just going to try each one. Plastic is nice and light, but I do like brass. It's indestructible basically, so I'll probably use the brass one, keep the plastic one in a toolbox just in case, but Either or should do. There's no oil or anything really gets up there, so it doesn't really matter what material it's made of. Okay, after a bit of huffing and puffing, it's all on there. Front diff's teed into the back diff. Just did that just because they're both diffs, no other reason. You could plumb into any. It's just a breather. So that's all cable tied up and no rubbing. So that's the front done. Now we'll move back to the rear with the fuel. Okay, so we're back under the back. We're going to pull that. You can see that is teed, if I get up here high enough, it's teed into both tanks. Just here goes off the front and the back tank, and that is a little cover on there. If you pull on that, it usually should come off. I just have to put the camera down to do it, so I'll just do that, pull it off. So this filter actually only goes on one way, so it's good just to remember that too. There's a tank and an air side, so we're going to extend that up to here. I've actually pulled out one of those little clips so you can actually pull that back and get up to the top of the tank filler. So let's get that done, and I'll try and show you through the process. I don't know if you can see on there, but it does say tank with an arrow. When you blow on it, it actually has like a little sort of spring relief valve, so it holds a little bit of pressure or a little bit of suction. So it's not just a plain filter, it has some sort of valving in there, so hence the reason why I wouldn't want to just replace this with a breather. I'll leave this existing valve arrangement on there. So I've removed the original pipe off the breather there, and that's going to go all the way up and behind the wheel arch there and up into the filler area. So I've extended that rubber. It's got a few more hose clamps. I've extended enough to put it right up to the top of the fuel filler. I'll put the little thing back on. I'll use this little tab to cable tie it to the top of this big black pipe, the fuel filler pipe, and get my hand up behind here and tighten that up. So let's do that. Okay, so it's not easy in here, but what I've done is I've pulled out this, pulled back this inner guard and got in here and slid it all the way up. Don't know if you can see in there, but all the way up to the top. I can try and get in there with the light. Anyway, and then down, a little bit of armour over that little sharp patch, and then a few cover ties underneath, and she's put the guard back in and she's done. Then it's basically sitting just below the fuel filler here, and with a special little valve that it's got, that should stop any water getting in if it was to get that deep. So I'll put all this back together and should be done. Okay, that's it, fuel breather done. It's all up in there, up as high as it can go near the fuel filler. Diff breather's done, transfer case breather's done, automatic tran done, and front diff done. So hopefully with the help of the Prado point guys, that is every breather that I can think of.